Do you second guess yourself? I used to, and it used to bother me a lot. I used to second guess myself on a lot of things that I thought were okay, and then it wasn't okay because waited on it too long, and then procrastinated on it, and then it was like I should have took the shot when I had the chance. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through 7 steps on how I eliminated second guessing myself and just staying true to myself and staying true to my mind and what I think about. We're just going to dive straight into it. The number one thing, I'll tell a story first so we can relate to this. When I was little, I used to have this stand. It was a Kool-Aid stand. I used to sit outside and I used to sell Kool-Aid to everybody that came in the neighborhood. It's just a little thing that I did during the summer to make some money. And I used to watch people come by, and then some people didn't come by, and then some people came by. But my expectations for it was just, why didn't everybody stop? I'm a little kid, they should look at me. And I realized that's not how it does. It's how your presentation, how you represent yourself, how it comes in, and your expectations. So number one, we're gonna go into this is social expectations of yourself. It's the pressure, I get it when you second guess yourself. It's the pressure that you think somebody's gonna think, that little voice in your head is gonna say something about, what do they think if I do this, what if I do that? You shouldn't think about what nobody thinks about you. You got your own mind, you don't wanna be like everybody else. Mostly people that socially expectations usually come from peer pressure, usually go down that way. And the way to get out of that is to be confident in yourself, know who you are at all time. You should know what bothers you, what triggers you, what makes you angry, what makes you happy, the environment and everything, and you can know how to control it. But don't have your expectations on everybody else because everybody might not see your interest in things. So you have to be true to yourself. Number two, fear of vulnerability. This area right here is second guessing yourself. A lot of people feel vulnerable if they say something. They feel vulnerable that something's going to happen next. And it comes down to even arguments. Most people, if you ever had an argument before, somebody's got to always say the last word, and the last word may trigger somebody and make them feel the way. And they're like, man, I said this, and then you're going to go ahead and say that. And it makes them feel vulnerable, and they go, you know what, next time I'm not going to say anything about it. So the fear of vulnerability happens, but you got to realize, be vulnerable. If it is what it is, it is what it is. You take it as how it is, and you soak it in and you grow from it. But you should be vulnerable and be okay with being vulnerable about situations. Open up, because the more you're scared about it and you keep it inside, it festers inside of you, and it's going to bring something inside of you that you don't want to have inside you, and it's going to make you really, really have evil thoughts. Now, number three is performance pressure. I know as men, we always got to show up for our kids, we got to show up for our wife, we got to show up for everybody out there in the world, and there's a lot of pressure that's on us at all time to be this person, this shell that we have on the side of our body sometimes. But sometimes you need to actually sit back and reflect and relax sometimes. The pressure sometimes, if you got so much pressure and tense on you, sometimes it can actually make you go crazy. That way right there, you should be as a man, just relax. It comes from meditation. Do a lot of meditation, do a lot of reading. That's what I do. I learned from this is I took myself, and how I got started into this was I got upset about a situation, and I was listening to some music, and it made me get angry. It got me real angry. So I said, I don't want to listen to this. Let me listen to something else that's more. And when I did that, it soothed my mind. And then I was like, well, all right, let's tap into some books and learn something. So then I started tapping in some books. And books just made me go down a whole rabbit hole that I don't even want to lay it in this video, but it changed my life and how I look at things and how I can be more aware of how life is and how the universe works. It's going to be a lot of pressure. We get that. But you got to educate yourself and be aware of what's going on. If you're aware and put yourself in a spot that you can understand, and that comes from getting books, mentorships, and everything, because if you're by yourself trying to do this, you're not going to be able to do it by yourself. It's impossible. You got to understand, think about the beginning of the time. God made man and he made woman. He made Adam and Eve. He didn't make just man by himself. He knew man couldn't be alone by himself. He needed a woman, Eve. He needed somebody. And then eventually, down to number 4 that we're going to talk about is lack of support. And lack of support comes from some people that you don't have in your circle, and you second guess yourself because you don't have these people in your circle. So what makes it where you second guess yourself when you can have somebody there as an actual counsel to kind of help you through your problems. So basically a tip, you can go get 3 people in a room, and then if you got a problem, they can tell you how they went through their problems and persevered through it, and then the other person can tell you how they persevered through it, and then the other person can tell you. And if it's something relatable in there, some points in there that you can take from it, hey, you might take it from all 3 of them, and then you put it inside your brain, and you can realize, okay, this is how I fix the problem. And then it's a support system here, because you got to have support to actually grow. They got groups out there, it's Facebook groups, Instagram groups, city council groups, all kind of groups around your city and your town. You can check them out, but get inside of a support group that actually people that's like-minded at you, and they may have the same situation as you. There's actually groups out there that have situations that may be related to what you're going through, and you can get in these support groups and grow. They're a faster way to grow. You meet people, and it's life-changing to you. Number 5, perfectionist. A lot of people want to be perfectionists out here. They think everything's got to be perfect. Everything's got to be the right way. I got to turn it this way. I got to turn it that way. Come as you are and be yourself. And as you go through it, you'll get better and better as you go. I'm not perfect on any aspect of it. You're not perfect on any aspect of it. The first time you ever rode a bike, you wasn't perfect. The first time you held a baby, you wasn't perfect. The first time you probably turned on a computer, you wasn't perfect. The first time you did anything, it wasn't perfect. But the more you kept doing it, you start sharpening your craft, and then eventually you wasn't even thinking about how perfect it was. It's just muscle memory start happening, and it starts to become natural. So, but you have to start. That's the thing about perfectionists. You have to start, because the more you think about it, that's that second guessing. It's going to put you back every time. It's going to always put you back, because you're going to second guess yourself. I'll put it off tomorrow. I'll put it off tomorrow. I'll put it off tomorrow, and then tomorrow never comes. Stop being a perfectionist and actually just get it done, and you'll see a big result and change in that. Number 6, limit role models. This goes both ways here. If it's something that you're doing that's, I'm going to go to the negative side first. If it's something that you're listening to or anything that's inspiring you that's not making you grow, then you might need to change your frequency, because it's at a point that it's taking you to a different direction you don't want to go. Find mentors, find people that's done it before you, that done the thing that you've done already, or what you're trying to pursue, or who you're trying to become, and read about them. It goes down to anything. You may read a story and it may inspire you, and it can put you down a path. You can maybe find somebody that did something that you're trying to accomplish in business, maybe accomplish in fatherhood, maybe accomplish in just any life tools or everything. Find out what they do. Don't model them, but take what they had, a little piece of what they got them to the craft, and make you, because you're your own person. Don't follow anybody, but just you're your own person, and use different chinks of the armor to make it. It's almost like if I was making a stew. I would get some salt, some pepper, some seasonings, then I put the stuff in it and mix it all together and combine it and make my own recipe. So that's what you do. Same here. You're taking models of anything else, and you're taking your own recipe, you're putting all the sauces inside of it, and you're making your own recipe. And that's going to be your genetic creation of yourself. So if the direction you want to go is this way, and you want to follow people that's doing it this way if you want to, and you'll see a change there. Last one is the stigma to mental health. This is one part that a lot of guys, they second guess themselves on. Asking for mental health, getting going, and this goes back to the group number 4, supporting groups. When guys don't want to get in groups with guys because they feel masculine and everything else, but it's not masculine to tell another guy if you're in this way, because if you're comfortable in your own skin, you shouldn't have to feel awkward out of any way else to grow. And get in a group, get you a mentor. I believe in getting a mentor to help you get to the certain part. Somebody, like I said before, somebody that's done it before you and crafted it and done it, and you can ask them questions. Oh, so why'd you take this route right here? And he can say, well, I took this route to get here. You go, okay, so why did you do this? And he can say, do this. And you go, I don't know. And then you can go here, and then you can grab books and say, okay, they did it here, and then just model the craft, and you'll learn, because you got your own strength. You don't see Steph Curry out there shooting basketball playing center. He can't play center because that's not his strength. he can go to only his strength, and he's a point guard. And you always got to know your strength, and that's where a mentor and a coach comes in at, in that area of mental health. So like I said, the stigma around mental health, and get help. Find people that relatable to you, that you can ask questions to and grow. There's the stigma around, I don't want to ask anybody for help because I can keep it to myself. Keep it to yourself long enough, you know what'll happen. You'll be doing this to yourself. And every time you do this, it'll shake up and 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 shake up, and eventually it's just going to spill all over because you can't. It's too much pressure in it. So open the bottle up, let some of the pressure out of it, and eventually more and more you open it up, the pressure releases and you'll feel a whole lot better. Being funny on this picture, like if you had bad gas inside your body and you hold it there, it's going to make you feel funny until you release it. And once you release it out, it's a different feeling. It's the same thing. If you keep pressure, guys with mental health, if you keep it pressured inside, it's going to fluster you and it's going to make you do things that you out of your character. Speaking of character, what kind of character are you? All through these second guessing yourself right here, you should know this is how you build your character. So if you, every time you second guess yourself, your character build usually changes. So don't second guess yourself thinking you did it and then later on down the line fix it slowly. I learned that from Henry Ford. Henry Ford, they said when he did the Model T, he did it quick. But then everybody, they told him, oh, it was a mess. And guess what he did anyway? He made the decision quick, but then eventually he changed it. But don't second guess yourself when you're doing anything in life, because it can affect you in so many ways. Hope you found this information valuable. Like I said, I'm doing an event for guys out there that's trying to transfer, trying to lose weight. Sign up. I'll put the program at the bottom. I just went through my whole words of thought just now. I'll put the program at the bottom down there so you can click in and get the information out and value it. Like I said, I don't really edit these videos. I just want to be pure, authentic through these, so you're going to get what you get from me. I got a message to give to people, and the information that's here is for you. Like I said, number one is social expectations. Don't worry about what everybody in the surroundings around you and social everything. You got your own gift. You got to use that. Number two, fear of vulnerability. Be vulnerable sometimes. Vulnerability is not bad. It's just a way that you can open up and get it out of you. Number three, performance perfection. Performance, don't worry about how people look at you, the pressure and everything. You are who you are, because if you try to put this mask on every time, someday you're not going to have that mask on, and then everybody's going to see you for who you are. So you just got to, we get it. The performance is there, and you got the pressure that's there, but you still got to work through it. Number four, lack of support. Remember, you got to have lack of support. Have a support group. Find people, your church, Facebook groups, Instagram groups, any kind of groups they are that's in there. Find groups to help you find the thing that you're missing and get in these groups, because they already have the answers already, and they could probably help you fast track your life around and fix it. Number five, perfectionist. Don't worry about being perfect about things. Life ain't nothing's perfect. Nobody ever did anything perfect. So stop expecting yourself to do it perfect. And you will make yourself a whole lot easier, and then you can get through things done a whole lot faster. Number six, limiting role models. Like I said, both ways. Stop following the people that's actually bad, that's bringing you energy, that's going to make you be a certain way, and get people that's going to move you up in your growth. Like I said, as men, we already have the pressure of us of having everything on our shoulders, but if you can actually have growth and have people that's going to push you to the right direction, you can see a change, and it'll help you in so many ways. Now, number seven, last what I said, is the stigma of mental health. Go out there and get some help. If you see, get in these groups. I'm actually, if you're interested, I'm actually thinking about putting together a guy group we'll do a chat where we can sit down and have problems and sit there and chat and do things like that. If you're interested, let me know, and I'll put something together for us. But right now, I'm not going to do it if you're not going to be willing to be involved in it. So just being honest. So these 7 things right here, I hope these give you tips that give you value and fast track you on your way of personal growth. And like I said, stop second guessing yourself. It'll put you in a bad rut. And see you next time.